Interior design is so much more than just picking pretty things. It's also more than regurgitating all of the trends you see online, but that's not the point. Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in this video, we're doing something a little different. We're doing something a little more casual, and we're just gonna have a conversation about real interior design and some of the details and the finishes that make a space designer, that make it beautiful, that make it polished and finished. I'm gonna give you a second to go grab a cup of coffee because I have mine sitting right here. Okay, now that you have that, be sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notification turned on to get notified every time I upload, and let's get into the video. Now, I think the first and most important part of interior design and what designers do is all about planning. And let me tell you, planning is 99% of the work. Nothing happens, nothing starts, and approval isn't given until space plans, furniture plans are created. Some designers will even go as far as to create accessory plans. That's a little bit much for me, you know, like they'll plan out where each and every pillow is gonna be, what fabric, where every vase, every jar, every picture frame is gonna be. I just don't have the time for it. I like to do more organic kind of styling. I like to be in the space. I like to see what it needs and what we need to address, you know, the concerns of it, but we still plan out like what fabrics and what finishes we're gonna use, because that just makes deciding on some of the things like color and lighting and what we need to fill spaces and furniture, all of that just makes it so much easier. When you have a space and you've selected all of the fabrics and the paint and the finishes, it just makes it like so quick and expedient, and the actual picking of the pieces and the sourcing, that's not the hardest or longest part of a job. It's overseeing all of the aspects of it and making sure things come together and that you're putting the least amount of stress on the people you're working for and the people you're working with. Now, the biggest part of the problem with sourcing right now and overall, but sourcing in general, especially when you use antiques or you're doing custom work, is getting it on time and making sure you have everything. Because some people, some clients will like you to come in and, you know, do everything at once, and they just want to walk into a finished space. And other people are a little bit more like they want to be involved in the process and the decision making. And those are the kinds of people that, if they don't mind if, you know, a piece or two arrives on site, or they don't mind being there for the delivery, they want to see the unwrapping and unpackaging. But some people are like I want the turnkey, the finished, I want to walk into a finished space. And those are the projects where the most planning, and you have to be the most detail oriented, because if we're doing renovation or construction or anything like that on the project, you can't have furniture being delivered on site, and you can't have fine fabrics and rugs and finishes like that in the space because you run the risk of damaging them. We also have to be able to make sure that those pieces arrive and they're correct and they're, you know, on point and everything is right about what you ordered, or that it's the right size, everything. Because bringing a client in, or like somebody seeing that and it gets unwrapped and it's not right, is like devastating. It deteriorates the confidence and the relationship between the designer and the client. And that's the most important thing when you're working with clients or you're hiring a designer, is that you have a relationship with them and you have trust, and you can depend on what that person is telling you and you can trust them to do it. But the reality is, a lot of times what we do if we're doing a big renovation or someone's not living in a house at that time, is we'll have like an off-site warehouse of some sort, whether that's a storage facility, a warehouse, something that's climate controlled, whatever, and we'll have all of the furniture pieces delivered there so that as they come in, we can see them, we can unwrap them, inspect them, make sure they are up to par, that they don't need refurbishment or refinishing, or that the fabric is correct, or whatever that is. We make sure before it goes to site. Then they get rewrapped and stored until everything comes in and we're ready for an install. That's like when people walk into a space and they just want the turnkey everything. Another key element of interior design and the planning process is creating flow. And I really think flow is one of the most important aspects in a home, in a space, to create connection between multiple areas. And that flow can happen in a lot of ways. For example, I'm currently redoing my dining room. My husband and I are picking all of this and that, and we want to make sure that it works with the rest of our spaces, even though it's going to be one of those spaces that has color. I actually talked about this in a video where I'm like tired of every surface in this house being white and I just can't take it anymore. So we're working really hard to make sure that the spaces that are going to remain white have connection to the spaces that are going to be beautiful and have color and be really vibrant, because it's really important that your home feels like it has connection, even if it's different, even if you're switching colors. Sometimes it's nice to be able to have accessories in one space that match the color of another space. That way they feel connected and they feel like there's a little bit of one inside of the other, even though they're completely different. And that's all about the planning, and that comes out when you're picking materials and selections. Sometimes it's even just accessories. For example, like if one room is orange and another room is green, it's nice to have some green accessories in that orange room and some orange accessories in that green room. That way they feel connected. It doesn't have to be a majority color. It can be like just a little sprinkling of that color in a space. It creates amazing connection between the two. Or sometimes that's just in the style of furniture or the styling of it. Maybe you have two of the same rug in two different spaces. That creates a lot of connection and flow. And flow is also about floor plans and, you know, the way we arrange furniture and the way you move and interact within a space. All of that takes a lot of planning, and you know, that's one of the things interior design school really taught me, was that a space has to function for the people that are in it. And I also think that's a really important aspect to touch on, is that most designers, they don't want to walk into your beautiful, perfect, polished, clean home. They want to walk in and see how you live. I want to see, where is the dust building up? Where's the pile of clothes? Like, what is happening? Where's the dog toys? You know, I want to see the mess that's in your house, because I can design around that, and I can actually design to improve your life and improve the way you live in a space by seeing how you actually live in it, not just seeing the polished and pretty clean version of it. For some people, they will not live for their space. Their space lives for them. Let's say you or your partner are like putting piles of clothes around. Like, you know, maybe you're the person that, like, when I get into bed, I need to change, and then the clothes are just gonna stay on a pile on the floor there until the morning, and I put them away. Well, I can design that space so we have a strategically placed laundry basket where you can put those clothes. So in the morning when you get up and you get out of bed, you don't have just like a pile of stuff on the floor that's kind of like already getting your day started off in not a good place. It's like, oh, now we have something to do as soon as you get out of bed. Whatever that is for you, we can design a space that says that and that works for you, and that's actually more convenient and conducive to your lifestyle. While we're on the topic of a space working for you and the way you live in it and the way you work in it and interact in it, be sure you're subscribed to the channel. It really shows us support, and it makes us want to work harder to make these videos that will help you to improve your life, improve your space, improve your design. And if you are already subscribed, just know we really, really appreciate it. And it's you all that are watching these videos, that interact and engage with us, that really keep us going and make us want to keep producing. It really means the world to us. We have grown so quickly and we've grown so much, but we have a lot more growing to do. So be sure, if you've made it this far into the video, that you take a moment and hit the subscribe button. I'll give you a second. And then comment down below and let me know you're a new subscriber so I can take the time to personally thank you and welcome you to the channel. I think another really important aspect to interior design is lighting. And lighting can really make or break a space. It makes an empty space look full. It makes a full space look cozy. You can adjust the way the lighting affects the mood and the usage of a space too. Like, for example, in my formal living room where we're sitting now, this living room is packed full right now. Like I said, we're redoing our dining room. We actually have floors coming in for upstairs. We have a ton of stuff in this room. Like, let me just give you a rundown. I currently have 10 dining chairs, 3 sofas, plus my usual console tables, my coffee table, a mirror, my silver chest, a piano, everything in my house, plus all of my Halloween decor is still up, even though it's after October, but whatever. And because I have really amazing lighting, I have a beautiful big overhead chandelier that's lighting up this entire space, it doesn't feel cramped, it doesn't feel full, even though like there literally is an alleyway of things here between the camera and I, just so that you're not seeing every ounce of everything in my space. That lighting is essential to giving me like some space to move around in here. It makes the space feel bright, feel not full, but feel open and airy. Lighting is so important in interior design. Which reminds me, make sure you stay tuned because we have so many fun makeover and reveal videos coming soon. I think I'm like like gearing up to do 3 of them right now. Like, oh, I can't wait. But that lighting is literally essential. It's so important. I think in this space, I have the overhead light, I have lamps, I'm adding sconces, we have the fireplace that gives a warm glow. I also always am a person that thinks like you need to have a really large light fixture to fill in a space. You all have been asking me for a video on lighting and choosing overhead lighting. It's coming, we're working on it, there's a lot to go through, so just bear with us. But overhead lighting for me, I always think you need to have an oversized light fixture because it needs to fill a space. There's nothing worse than that like one little chintzy light fixture, it's like a little fly buzzing around, you know? Like you wanna have a big substantial light fixture. And for me, I have never found a light fixture that's big enough to fill a space, but that does not overproduce light. So I always think it needs to be on a dimmer switch. That way you can change the lighting, you don't have to have some crazy bright lighting. There's nothing worse than you're dining with a group of people and then there's like some insane overhead light. It's like unscrew some of the light bulbs because I just can't. It's giving me a migraine. I can't do it. Always have a dimmer switch because a light fixture is always going to produce too much light if it's actually big enough to fill a space. Dimmers are essential. Sorry if you can hear Albert whining a little bit in the background. He knows we're here filming and you know he's the star of the show, the channel, everything. He just always wants to be in the video, steal my limelight, but whatever. Back to the lighting. I think lighting is essential and there's always a way to incorporate more lighting into a space that doesn't always have to be expensive or cost a fortune because, you know, if we're renovating or your walls are open, if you're buying a new home, it's a great time to put in lighting because when the ceiling isn't there and the walls are not there, you can add in light fixtures and it costs nothing. It's like, you know, it might be like $50, $25 or whatever for the actual material. But when your walls are in place and like we're gonna have to patch drywalls to get can lights or recessed lights, sconces in, it's very expensive. And most designers, the secret is we tell everyone to use 3 sources of lighting, which we all know, we've heard that on all over YouTube, all over everything. I love 3 sources of lighting, but if I can put more, I will. I'll put 6 in, I'll put an overhead light, I'll put recessed lights, I'll put sconces, I'll put lamps, I'll put a task light. I'll even light the top of like a tall object, whether it's a bookcase, cabinetry that doesn't go to the ceiling. You know, like if you have a gap of space there, that's a perfect place to put lighting. Put some lighting on stairs, put some lighting in the corners of rooms. That's always really, really dramatic. Art lighting is important. There's literally a never-ending list of light choices and things you can do. You can put lighting into crown molding, like you have a little gap there, you put lighting into it. That's super luxurious. It takes a certain space to make it work, but I love it. That's always amazing, fantastic. You always want to incorporate lighting and as much lighting as possible. I like it on dimmers. I like it to be separated on switches. That way we have options as to what we can use, but it's always, always essential to have lighting and create a lighting plan. That's something really important. If you have a floor plan, if you have a furniture plan, you need to have a lighting plan. Where's the lighting gonna go? What type of lighting are you using? What type of bulb do you like? For photos and a lot of times in people's spaces, they like to have really cool tone lighting that is just like very daylight. But I find that if you like a space to be more comfortable, more welcoming, having something that is slightly more warmer is always nice. But mixing the two will really, really get you that effect. For example, my overhead lights are a little bit more neutral tone. They're a little bit cooler, but my lamps are very warm. That way I get this warm, glowing effect on my walls and at night, and it's so moody and comfortable, relaxing. But if I need to use the overhead lighting for filming or for any other purpose, I have that lighting and it's really amazing. Lighting, essential to a space, mix the tones of it, and that dimmer switch, most important thing. Let me get a sip of this before it goes cold. I think the last thing I need to address in this video is actually accessorizing, because I see this a lot on social media and we see it in magazines, we see it everywhere, and there's a big kind of industry around accessories for your home. When I'm accessorizing a space, 90% of the time, when I find that accessorizing that I really like, I just leave it. I don't go through and re-accessorize everything every day, every week, or whatever. I'm busy, okay? I don't have time to be re-zhuzhing my entire house every day. Love that for you if you have the time, and I wish I was the one. I'm not. So my accessorizing, usually it stays the same, or I might get a new piece in and mix something up that way. I change it for the holidays and seasonally, but for the most part, it stays the same. And then after the holiday, I just put everything back to where it was. The way we accessorize needs to be addressed though, because a lot of times we see magazines or we'll see styling and we'll see an ad or something we really enjoy. It's important to remember that has been styled. A professional stylist has come in and restyled that space. That's not actually how it looks. That's not actually how people live in it, because that stylist is gonna come in for a magazine photo shoot and they're taking out the pictures of the family. They're taking out the basket with the dog toys or the dog bed or whatever that is. That's all being removed because that's not what people want to see in a magazine. That's not what the advertisers want or whatever. They take that out and restyle and restage it. That's why you'll see like crazy stuff sometimes, like a bowl on its side. And it's like, why is the bowl on its side? Well, it doesn't make any sense because it's not supposed to. It's just supposed to look good for the magazine photo shoot. And then the person that actually lives there went back and moved the bowl back because it's like, it makes no sense. A lot of times that styling is staged. It's made to enhance a space from that one angle the photo was taken from. Always keep that in mind when you're looking or when you're on Instagram, you're online, you're looking through magazines, whatever that is. Those spaces are staged, they're styled. It's kind of like a fashion shoot where the bodies of the models have been edited, or a makeup campaign where the face has been retouched. It's the same thing with interior design and photography of homes and spaces. They get restaged. Just because it's what you see in a magazine or what you see in a photo doesn't mean if you walked into the space you would even recognize it, because certain things are changed or angled differently for those. It's not realistic to think your home needs to be styled exactly like you saw in a magazine. If it can be and you like that and you enjoy it, 100% go for it and do that. But if you like something styled differently, do it. I cannot tell you how many of you will tell me in the comment section that you hate karate chopped pillows. I'm not the biggest fan of the like overly chopped, you know, like where it's like this looks a little bit weird to me. I don't like that. I like it to be somewhere in the middle. I like for it to have a little bit of a crease, but I don't like for it to be overly chopped, you know? That's something that they do in magazines, that they'll overly chop a pillow, or that happens online. Like if you're selling a pillow and you want to show how fluffy and dense and full and overstuffed it is, you give it a massive karate chop. But in somebody's home, you know, just having a nice pillow that looks a plush, that doesn't look like, you know, I personally am not the fan of the like perfectly square pillow. That just looks like cheap polyester filling to me, but whatever. You know, if someone comes to me and they want their home restyled and they say, well, I don't want any karate chop on my pillow, I want it to sit square and whatever. Great, we do that. Actually just overstuff the pillow. That way it looks really, really full and will kind of bulge a little bit, but it doesn't karate chop. That's always something nice. And just because you don't see it on Instagram or whatever, doesn't mean that's not how people actually live. I know, like, we get caught up into the whole, like, don't have family photographs. Girl, have family photographs. You live in that house. You have to love it. Do what you want and what you need to do. Have your things on display. Like, some people might not like that I'm a collector and I have a collection of this and that and the other thing. Well, guess what? My little blue Waterford bowl, it's staying there because I'm absolutely in love with it and I love to see it there. May not be for everybody, but this isn't a magazine. This is a home. This is where I live. It's real life, and I'm gonna have to do with it what I want to do and what makes me happy, and you should too. Well, I think I rambled on long enough, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight as to what interior design really is, what it's about, and how designers actually work and do this and design spaces to create that polished and finished look that you all might be after. That's what we do here. That's what we talk about on the channel. Let me know in the comment section down below, what's something you've always been curious as to how designers achieve that you want an answer to, because we might be doing a part 2 sometime soon. Be sure to let me know. Be sure to give this video a like. And I know that you know someone that maybe they think they're a designer, or they want the designer look and whatever, and you're like, that's a little bit ridiculous, like, live in your space, love it. Send this video to them, because friends help friends. And I will see you in the next one.